Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. I've got a Thursday night football single game showdown video for you for the game between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals with their brand new quarterback, Joe Burrow, who looked really good in the opener against the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to see what we can come up with on this slate. Now, just like every other showdown video, I have to come out and just tell you I am not going to give you a lineup on this video. That's not what I do. I'm here to try and teach you how to fish, how to make better lineups yourself, whether it's going to be for cash games if you play 50-50s, double ups, triple ups, head-to-heads on single game showdown, or whether or not you build your lineups building into those 3 max, 20 max, or 150 max games like the big $10 tournament, which is a $1.5 million tournament on Thursday night football this week in week 2. Really excited, although this is not a really exciting game. I really like the single game showdown slates. Hopefully you guys have checked out the How to Win series that I do here. It's a playlist on the channel. Definitely look for that. There's some great videos there to teach you how to look at showdown and why in a little bit of a longer form if you want a longer explanation of some of the things that I go through here in kind of a quick manner on this quick hitter video, this little 15-minute video that I do for all the single game showdown stuff. So if you do use an optimizer, awesome. If you're comfortable with it, great. If you've never tried it, I suggest that you should. If you click down below on the description, expand that, click show more, or if you look right down over there, you can see that we've got partnerships with a bunch of different sites that you can get discounts on that have fantastic content or optimizers and tools for not just NFL, but multiple sports like rotogrinders.com, dailyroto.com, and establishthorun.com, which is a fantastic content site with projections to help you be a better daily fantasy player and consolidate your research into a shorter period of time. And that's what we're all trying to do, right? Time is our most valuable commodity that we have. So if you can have some really smart people do some of the work for you and cut down that research time, just like you guys are doing by watching these videos, I'd highly suggest it. Get yourselves a discount. You want to support the stream, you can do it that way. Support the videos, you can do it that way. Another way, click something. Like the video, respond, drop a comment down below. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you ring that notifications bell. Other than that, you guys know what to do. Just click a damn thing. So here's the game. Not a super, I don't know, not like looking like a shootout, right? It's got kind of a lowish total in the low to mid 40s. We've got an offense that was kind of struggling. Another offense that looks like it's tooled very well. However, a rookie quarterback can kind of go different ways. I do think that there's things that we can attack in this game and should be thinking about when we do it. So I want to talk to you about the way that you should build these. If you have access to a lineup optimizer, even if you're not going to mass multi-enter, I do think that you should get in the habit of building these groups and have it build you however many lineups you want, and then see what it gives you and compare it to your handmade lineups to see, is there something I could be doing better? Because the optimizer obviously going to spit out mathematically what the best lineups are within the groups that you're using. The first tip that I want to give you is with any lineup optimizer that you're using for showdown specifically, not so much for main slate. Main slate, I'm looking for more median value plays. I want mean projections. I want, on a raw projection. I'm not exactly looking at ceiling when I'm building a bunch of different lineups. But for showdown, I do want to take advantage of variance, and I do want to take advantage of ceiling. So I sort by the 75th percentile and not the 50th percentile or the mean projections that they give you, or the median projections that they tend to give you. So the first thing I do is I need to build rules. First rule that we build is around the quarterbacks. If we are going to include a quarterback as our captain on this slate, number one, I want to limit my quarterbacks and captain to 7 or 8% of my overall captain shares, because lifetime in all the showdowns that have ever been won, a quarterback ends up being the captain about 12 to 15% of the time, and a wide receiver or running back is the captain 70% of the time. We want to focus most of our captaincy on those guys, unless there is a special quarterback like a Lamar Jackson, a Patrick Mahomes. Those guys are the ones who typically end up being the captain winners on Showdown. I don't see that really from Joe Burrow. I don't see that really from Baker Mayfield in this particular game, unless the score somehow outlandishly becomes something like 44-38, and then they've racked up tons of touchdowns and yards and everything else, and bonuses. So I'm not seeing that happening. But when I do build these lineups, the first group that I want to make, and I make 2 different groups minimum for each quarterback. The first group is a team-based group, so I'm going to take every single one of the Cincinnati pass catchers. I'm going to include, if Joe Burrow is captain, I'm going to make a rule that I need at least 2 of A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross played a lot of snaps, C.J. Uzoma. If you want to include Higgins, if you want to include Auden Tate, if you want to include Erickson or any of the other pass catchers that are a little bit lower on the target percentage totem pole, you can. I don't think you have to. I'm going to force at least 2 of these guys into that Joe Burrow at captain group, and I'm going to make what's called a bring back group, where we're going to focus on players on the other team. When I focus on the players on the other team with Joe Burrow, I'm going to include all the running backs, all the quarterbacks, every single viable player that I want percentages of, and make sure that the lineup builder uses at least 1, not exactly 1, but at least 1 of that group in any Joe Burrow at captain lineup. We're going to do the same exact thing with Baker Mayfield. We're going to build a group around Beckham Jr., Landry. Not going to use Chubb as he's not really involved in the pass game. I am going to use Kareem Hunt because I think he's going to get enough of a target market share there, maybe 10 to 15%. Austin Hooper, same 10 to 15%. And anybody else that you want to include. Not going to include kickers and defense in that group either. And I'm going to build that bring back group with every single one of the Cincinnati players. Second groups that we need to make are based around the pass catchers. If you have AJ Green as your captain, if you feel that AJ Green, the aged one, the one who has been so injured for so long but so talented, obviously has the ability to score 1, if not multiple touchdowns any game that he takes the field. If he is going to be your captain, you need to make sure that you put Baker Mayfield. I'm going to build a group that says anytime I have AJ Green as captain, Baker Mayfield's going to be included in that lineup. Yes, there are outlier spots where like AJ Green can score 2 touchdowns with 150 yards or 120 yards and you need him as your captain, but Baker Mayfield isn't going to do enough to warrant being in every one of those lineups. But usually if AJ Green goes off, Baker Mayfield had himself, or sorry, not Baker Mayfield. If AJ Green goes off, Joe Burrow is going to have himself a really, really good day. So while he may not be needed, same thing. If you're going to have an Odell Beckham Jr. lineup, then you have to include Baker Mayfield. Apologies for my brain fart. It's late and I've had a long day. But I got to get this content out for you guys for the morning. Basically, if Odell Beckham Jr. has himself a big day, takes a 60-yard slant to the house, no matter how disgruntled he might be with his position there, no matter whether or not they are shopping him, all the rumors are flying right now that he may be out of town. He may not be in Cleveland anymore. He's not really thrilled to be playing right now. All those sorts of things. I don't care if it's him. I don't care if it's Landry, who missed practice today. Whoever you're utilizing. And obviously, monitor the practice reports from Tuesday. That'll be their final run through. That's kind of like the Friday practice for these showdown slates, right? Thursday night football, Tuesday is the important practice day when it comes to those, just like Friday is our important practice day for main slates on Sunday. If these guys are out, it's going to create a lot of opportunity and a lot of value on this slate, but I already think there is enough for us to get by. So any Jarvis Landry at captain spot, I'm going to have Baker Mayfield in that. These are 1-to-1 groups. Another group that I'm going to build for this slate is around the Cleveland running backs. I think Nick Chubb is a fabulous running back. I think that he is extremely talented. He's going to be a guy who rips off yards in chunks. He's always going to have a good yards per carry. He's really good in terms of yards after first contact. I know yards per carry is shunned by the analytics crowd. They prefer other things, yards after contact, yards after first contact, other types of metrics that they're looking at. But he wins at every single one of them. This is like PFF's #1 graded running back from 2019. He is still a very good running back, but the team kind of likes Kareem Hunt a lot more. The organization seems to like Kareem Hunt a lot more, and Kareem Hunt in his own right, also a very talented running back, but more involved in the passing game. So more carries for Hunt in week 1 as they got throttled by Baltimore. And anytime there's going to be a negative game script for Cleveland, they are going to be throwing the ball more, means Chubb is going to be on the sideline and Hunt's going to be in. There is a possibility. It's not a, it's a non-0% chance, obviously, that both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt can go off in the same game. At least enough to warrant being in the same lineup in a showdown, right? Like Nick Chubb could have 100 yards rushing with a touchdown, and Kareem Hunt could catch like 6 balls for 80 yards and have like 100 yards from scrimmage total, like 25 rushing, 80 receiving, and a touchdown through the air. It's possible that that could happen, but in lineups that don't have Baker Mayfield as the captain, I am probably going to build a group. I'm going back and forth on this. But I am probably going to build a group where Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, only one of them can appear in any lineup where the other one is not in captain or Baker Mayfield is not the captain. So I just don't want random Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt combo lineups out there. I did the same thing in the Broncos game on Monday night where Phillip Lindsay was in play and so was Melvin Gordon III. I excluded them from the lineups together. I didn't think that both of them gave me a ceiling opportunity enough of the time that would warrant getting there. And kind of what I'm looking at is the percent of rostership, whatever you want to call it, the percent of rosters that the combo of those guys are going to be on, is that going to be higher than the percent chance that both of them could appear in a winning lineup? And usually that's not going to be the case. Both of these guys might appear in like 10 to 15% of lineups, and you might have like a 1% chance of both of them appearing in the winning lineup. So building groups to separate running backs like this and hope for specific game scripts. Like, I'll build some lineups where I think the Browns are going to win and Nick Chubb's going to get 20 carries and possibly get himself into the end zone, get a bonus. Those lineups, Kareem Hunt is not going to go off. I'm also going to build some lineups where I'm going to script out that Cincinnati is going to run away from them. And therefore, Kareem Hunt is going to be the one on the field. And we're going to see a box score kind of like we saw last week, 10 carries, only 1 catch for Nick Chubb. And he's not going to be the one that's going to be on the field and involved as much in the offense. So to me, I want to separate these two except for very specific situations. And if you want to do the same, so be it. If you just want to stuff both of them in there and pray that the absolute perfect situation happens, go for it. But you're probably going to be holding hands with a lot of people because that's going to be a pretty common lineup set. The last group that I'm going to build is the same group that I always build. And though I will be a little bit more lenient sometimes when you've got a low expected scoring game like this one. Usually, especially in higher scoring games, I'm going to limit, and I'm probably going to do it with this one. I might change this by the time game time gets here on Thursday night. But I'll build one group around the 4 DSTs and kickers, and I'm going to limit that only, no more than one of them can be in any lineup. I want to shoot for the moon. And the possibilities for a defense or a kicker to get 25 or 30 DraftKings points is extremely small. It can happen, most definitely. It can happen, but the chances for a 4K player, somebody in this range here, John Ross has way more of a possibility of getting me a 30-point DraftKings day. Cjo Uzomah could get me a 15 to 20-point DraftKings day. Giovanni Bernard, there are more paths for him to get an 18 to 20-point DraftKings day than there are for either one of these kickers. Auden Tate, any of the guys that are value plays in that mid-range. I'm not talking about extreme values like these sub 1K guys, right? I'm talking about guys here in this mid-range. Way more opportunity, higher percentage chance of them having a 20-plus DraftKings day. And if they have that type of day, I need those guys in the lineup to be able to propel my teams up to the top of the sheet. The other thing is I want to exclude every one of these guys from captain. I'm not going to be making any defense captain lineups, any kicker captain lineups. I'm going to leave that up to everybody else because that is a situation that is over-rostered on a week-in, week-out basis on Showdown where you end up getting like a 3% chance of a kicker or a defense winning you a Showdown slate. But the reality is they're, as a captain, and the reality is they're like 5, 10, 20% owned as captains on a week-in, week-out basis, a game in, Showdown game in, Showdown game out basis. So we're going to try and stick to the numbers. We're going to try and build better lineups. I hope that, you guys have yourselves a great week. Obviously, the quarterbacks are in play. They both have rushing upside. AJ Green, stick to him. Kareem Hunt, Austin Hooper might have a come out game on on an island game here. There's enough stars in this game, stars in this game athletic guys that make plays that you can hang your hats on, and they're at low enough prices that you can jam all those guys in without needing multiple defenses and kickers. So have some fun with this game. It does look like a fun showdown slate, even though it's not the greatest football game of all time, not the most high-powered electric football game of all time, but it's a real fun one to make some lineups. So get after it. Look out for the next video right there.
He's a legend.